Wingfield Hayes, BBC News in Tokyo.
Thanks so much to Rupert. Well, joining me now to discuss this further is Shirley Lin. She's a professor of world politics at the Miller Center of Public Affairs at the University of Virginia, also author of Taiwan's China Dilemma, speaking to us today from Taipei. Good to have you with us. As you're watching this US election, I mean, what is it that Taiwan hopes or fears from this upcoming contest?
Thank you. I think Taiwan is in a very tough spot. Since 1995, 1996, the missile crisis, the Taiwan Strait has never been in such high tension until recently. And of course, the Taiwanese people and the Taiwan government hope for more steadfast support from the United States, more arms sales, more consultation, and more importantly, is what do the Taiwanese people fear? And I think the fear justifies, of course, the hope. And the fear is, of course, of being abandoned in the US-China tension, rising tension. It is very possible that the American government and the American people could abandon Taiwan in its competition, in its desire to eventually accommodate China, accommodate Beijing, but also of entrapment, that Taiwan could be attacked by Beijing as a way to put pressure on the United States.
And how would you describe then the past 4 years with the Trump administration? How has that been for Taiwan?
Yes, of course, many people have seen the recent poll that more Taiwanese hope for Trump being elected than Biden, one of the few Asian countries. Only Hong Kong is close to that. And that is because, of course, under Trump, there seems to be a lot more of upgrading of relationship with Taiwan and prioritizing Taiwan as a partner for the United States. But it's Trump's unreliability or unpredictability has made Taiwanese very worried. And the debate in Taiwan about the United States is very intense. The DPP, the current administration, President Tsai Ing-wen, seem to be putting all her eggs in the American basket. And many people are concerned about whether Trump is reliable, whether America is a real ally that would stand for values, for democracy, when the heat becomes too hot.
And then you talk about Mr. Trump there, but I wonder, as that debate is quite hot, as you say, in Taiwan, do they know what a Biden presidency would mean, or is the United States lumped in a little bit together? Maybe I'm hearing, whichever the candidate.
I think there's a real. It's very clear that Trump prioritizes Taiwan, although he may be unreliable. But the fear that Biden, of course, Biden would be relying more on multilateralism, but there's real concern that Biden may be focused on perhaps accommodating Beijing to advance some of Americans' goals. And there's also voices in Washington that is saying perhaps the United States should focus more on strategic clarity to deter Beijing from changing the status quo unilaterally. And so there are people who are rooting for Biden, of course, but it is not clear what Biden's China policy and his Taiwan policy is.
So, Professor, are people following every twist and turn of the American election like they are in so many other parts of the world?
Absolutely. Speaking from Taipei here today, I can tell you this is something that is real and worrying everybody every moment, whether there will be confrontation and whether the United States is a reliable partner to deter Beijing from thinking about threatening Taiwan any further as a pawn in the game between the United States and China. I think Taiwanese are very, very concerned.
Thank you so much. Joining me, the Professor of World Politics, Shirley Lin, speaking to me from Taipei.